Oh, no.
Sarah got, she's like, oh, because you need to hold off. Let she.
But she's, is she gonna be, she's not gonna be in the special session. And I'm not gonna run the. Yeah, okay. Yes, we do. And Yolanda won't be here, but she texts. How about one? Oh, no.
No.
We have a refreshment for the committee's meeting.
You only get a refreshment, George, if you don't drag this meeting on.
I'm not dragging anything.
What kind of refreshment do you have?
What?
What kind of refreshment is it?
It's a cookie cake,
A cookie cake.
chocolate chip it looks like.
Is it a cookie cake or a cookie cake?
A cookie cake.
Oh,
Did you hear from Miss Washington?
No, I didn't think I heard.
I don't know why.
Well, is Pat here? Yes. Yeah, he's, so we got.
we have a quorum.
Well, no, but you don't get that as a not show.
Right, you don't. Sure, I think, quorum, I didn't know that was in there.
Yeah.
Man.
We have a recording of it.
Yeah. That's when I told her you gotta come to something.
Or at least look at the recordings.
This.
George, I was sure there was something in here, but every place about the weapon was always said employees.
Right.
Yeah, I thought sure there was something there that. talked
That
about
can't
it.
happen there.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. I always thought there was something. It turned out some arrogant.
Yeah,
So where's the replace 24-120? New language.
I thought there was just some general thing that, people weren't supposed to firearms and.
That's general safety, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just, that's something in our way.
This Washington.
Yeah.
Lynn, you got an agenda? Do you have the agenda?
Do I have an agenda?
Yeah, you always ask.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm working now, I used to be 18 months ago. Yeah, I used to be one of, I mean, with a t-shirt, you know, cold weather.
You must have gotten a year older. Did you get a year older?
I got more than a year older.
No, I'm not cutting it.
Oh, you.
Not till you announce it.
I'm not so sure about that.
You said you were.
The one thing I have found out, I have had problems with dehydration. Made it time because of it. And they say that seniors have more problems with dehydration than the average, you know, citizen. And I living example of all the people. Yeah, I didn't think about it either. If I passed out. Twice they called an ambulance. And once I just fell and banged myself.
The good news is the ambulance.
Yeah, you know,
That's convenient.
it really was, that was one of the places I had done about an hour and 15 minutes work. I was on the last machine and somebody was talking to me
Here.
and I didn't drink. And now after about every 2 or 3 machines I use, I go drink.
Gotta get your guts.
Water.
What?
I know what you meant.
I was hoping it was something else, but.
Okay.
Well, a beer would be good because it has nutrients and wouldn't, it's healthy.
Yep,
But
29.
I'm sure it is.
I'm counting.
Sure it is. But There's no, like this, I don't know.
What is this?
All right.
Not this year.
I take my girls.
Yeah.
I think. I got it.
They take 2 time.
I know. The longest minute I've been waiting.
It's December 16th, 2024 at 6:30
No,
p.
not yet.
6:30 PM, December 16th, 2024. Moving to order, roll call, please.
Bennett,
Here.
Branch,
Absent.
Beer. Bilky,
Here.
Farrell,
Here.
Stevenson,
Here.
Trinka,
Here.
Washington. Yeah. Wade.
Here.
Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're approving the motion to approve the agenda.
Move approval of the agenda.
I'll second.
It's either Bennett or Charlie, whichever one.
I got it. Okay. Bilky,
Here.
Yes.
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes.
Stevenson.
Here.
Trinka,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Liddy,
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
And we're doing audience comments on this one.
You can.
Agenda.
We can do, we have time for audience comments at this point. If you have a comment, please come up to the gate area and state your name, and you have 5 minutes.
My name is Mike Ogden. I work with the Lebanon Water and Sewer Department. I'm here more as a taxpayer than a employee. My question to council is, why are the city employees getting a 25% or 25-cent raise for completing the harassment training?
Is that your only comment at this point, Mike? We don't nobody responds. I didn't say that. I apologize. Nobody responds to your answers or to your questions. They may discuss it during the committee meeting.
Okay. And I guess I'll ask a couple of questions, and I know that you aren't gonna answer, but is this something that the council voted on, or was this decision made? You know, I don't know how the decision was made,
Okay.
but what that's going to cost the city, which, you know, it sounds weird, me being a city employee, I'm one that gets the 25% raise for taking a 1-hour harassment training seminar webinar. And in no way at all am I saying that it's not important. But 25 cents an hour is going to cost the city, that'll be $520 per person. There's 12 individuals, I believe, that will be getting that raise. So that's going to come out to $6,240. I guess I just would like to know the reasoning and why that particular one is worth 25 cents an hour. Because I myself have 9 at least other certificates that are related to my job. Might be pipeline safety, there's all different sorts of them. So are you planning on giving 25 cents for every certificate that we have that's related to our job? Because if that's the case, it's going to cost just in our department alone, if you averaged all of the water and sewer employees, if all of us had 8 certificates, say, to average it out, that's gonna cost the city over $16,000 just for our department. That's 4 employees. So I guess that's why I'm concerned as a taxpayer where this is going, because I don't know where that came from. We do get paid 25 cents per license that we can acquire. Those licenses have schooling involved. You have to work a certain number of years at your job just to qualify for these licenses that we acquire at the water and sewer department. So to sum it up, making it 25 cents for a 1-hour webinar, that it is important. You're making that just as equal as somebody in school for 2 years and acquiring a license.
Okay,
So.
thank you. Any other alderperson or any other audience?
My name is Sherman Edison, and the reason why I'm here is also is that I too still have to go to certification to keep up my license. I also have a water and wastewater certification license, and I had to keep that up to the Illinois EPA. Now, I pay for my own, but yet, if I don't have them, then I will lose my license. So I must keep my certification education up. So to certify one, and like I said, I don't know who brought it up, but they should maybe check into it and see to make it fair all across the board.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other audience? Okay, any older persons?
Discuss it now, later.
Okay. We'll go to the new business, which is pertaining, present for approval, the ordinance providing for the annual tax levy of the city of Lebanon, County of St. Clair for the fiscal year commencing on the first day of May 2024 and ending on April 2025. So we would need a motion, a second, a discussion.
I'll move approval.
You move what?
Approval.
Okay,
I'll say.
okay. Any discussion? All right. Roll call?
Farrell,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yeah.
Trinkum,
Yes.
Washington. Yes. Whitty,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Pelkey.
Yes.
The other is present for approval, the 2024 TIP audit report so that it can be sent to the Illinois Comptroller.
So.
Second, any
I'll second.
discussion?
Why is it so late? Is that,
I don't know if it's late. It just has to be in by the end of the year.
well, that's about, let's see.
Well,
The
first we
16th.
have to have our audit, then we have to do the reports and everything. Michelle works on that. She gives it to us. We had a meeting, but we did it wrong. I wouldn't say we did it wrong. We had the wrong date on it. So they asked us to I have to have a meeting, so we're gonna have a meeting and then it'll be sent to the control.
And I thought maybe that,
It's all done at the end of the year.
except for the audit,
That's done in July or August,
right?
Yeah, but we don't get the results of all that stuff until
later,
later.
September, October.
Okay, I guess.
Roll call,
Stevenson,
Here,
how about yes or no?
yes or no, please?
oh, on what? Oh, this?
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Okay. Trinka,
Yes.
Washington,
Yeah.
Whitty,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Farrell.
Yes,
This goes for the other meeting.
Yes.
I need a motion for adjournment of the special meeting,
please
please.
adjournment by voice vote of the special meeting.
Somebody
Second,
second? Okay,
roll call,
all in favor?
go.
All opposed? Any abstention? Okay.
It is 6:40.
6:40.
Okay, at about 6:41, I'm calling to order the Lebanon City Council Committees meeting for December 16th, 2024. Roll call, Washington,
Yeah.
Burns, not here, Whitty. Yes. Stevenson,
Here.
Trinka,
Here.
Elke,
There.
Bennett. Farrell is here. You have it on the record. We have another audience opportunity if anybody missed the first time around. Okay, moving on, we have an older person opportunity. Anybody missed the first time around.
Yeah, and George, the only thing I can say is, I kind of understand where Mike Ogden's coming from about the getting a certificate of the 25 cents per hour. I mean, it was about an hour or whatever, but I didn't consider that training. That was, I mean, you got a certificate, but it was like more of a common sense thing. It was they were wanting to make sure that we had common sense when it came to the harassment.
Did it really get a 25?
I don't know why they put 25-cent raise because we didn't authorize that, but what I am aware of is that is not, it's called training, but what it is a state mandate that every employee of every employer in the state of Illinois must provide this training.
But maybe, is it possible that, we said you get 25 cents if you do this?
We never
But
said.
we
any
can
money.
give 25 cents, we certainly didn't give everybody a 25-cent raise just to do this. Crazy, right?
Used to me.
It's a training.
I never heard of it.
It's before my time, so I don't know.
This is a mandate. It is not a certificate.
Yeah.
You don't get certified as being, as a harasser of people. The certificate is just evidence
Okay,
that you've completed the
Okay.
training, which is mandated by the state, and we had to do it. This
okay,
every calendar year,
but I
every
don't,
employee.
but George, we're not disputing doing that. I think what we're disputing is that Mike's saying everybody that completed it, they got a 25-cent raise, a permanent type raise, where they maybe should get maybe 25 cents to fill it out, but not.
Nothing.
I
No.
think our attorney needs to get with the union person, because this would be an unfunded mandate by the state legislature of every employer that has a union, if they have a training thing in there. And I don't think that was the intent. So I'm suggesting we ask our attorney to explore this. Because I can tell you right now, there are more trainings coming down the road.
Well, that's kind of just, that's part of the,
If you want to hold the job, you gotta show what you have the experience with anti-harassment, sexual conduct.
Yeah, I know.
yeah, but then every time there's a new, resolution, you're gonna pay him again?
No, that's what I can't figure out. That's why I'm saying we need to get our attorney our labor attorney to talk to the union.
Well, what did, Mike, is that showing up in somebody's payroll?
Yeah.
That it's 25 cents?
We've
Gross?
already received it in our last paycheck.
Really?
Well, it's in the union contract right now. We have to find out the extent to which this is part of the union contract. That 25 cents probably should not have been done until we were informed of it, because we've got this, we have another training that's gonna be coming down the road that I got picked up from the legislative actions that are coming up. So, we have to look at that. I don't know if that was the legislature to do that. And
Well, I think we ought to suspend that until we find out what's what.
it's too late. It's about 50 people have already done the training.
I don't care. You know, we can stop it.
I wasn't questioning
The training.
the
The training,
training
no.
itself.
It's the cost, and we were not, I'll be very frank, like, we weren't really apprised of that little piece of it. Things are so complex sometimes, and we've got to get our attorneys to look at that. Because that may be something that has to go back to the state legislature.
Shouldn't that discussion have been made before the decision was made to?
Never crossed anybody's mind. Very frank, because it was a mandate by the state. If we did not do that, the city would be fined by the state.
Yeah, but I'm not
I know
disputing
you're not.
that. I'm disputing
Right. I
disputing
know,
why
you're
we're
being-
getting
you're bringing it
25
forward.
cents now.
Now that you brought it up, we have to explore it, and find out what we're gonna do. And my suggestion is we'll talk to our attorney, our labor attorney this week. Now, I understand that the labor attorney is not part of the our regular stipend to the attorney. So I'll talk to him first, see if he thinks we need to talk to the labor attorney.
You also might check, George, if it's like a one-time thing. In other words, if you get to quarter the first time, because if it happens again, 2025, is that?
It's gonna happen every year, so we gotta find out. The training is every year, it's an annual training.
Sign me up.
And it'll be, the next one will be on ethics. The next training is ethics. We're supposed to do ethics training too.
Okay,
Oh, my goodness.
So let's move on,
agenda.
let's move on, get back to the agenda. Committees? Finance Committee,
Yes, we have Pam Wood from FCB in Trenton. We'll do a presentation on positive pay and other methods of preventing fraud in banking practices. We'll turn over to Pam.
you can introduce your case.
Oh, okay. He's telling me to share that I brought a cake from the Cookie Dude in Highland. So if any of you like to order, things from bakery products, I highly recommend the Cookie Dude in Highland, and you can order through Facebook, but we just brought you a little treat to share tonight. I am Pam Wood with FCB Banks. I'm one of our senior account executives in business development. My role in the bank is to work with our business customers, our municipalities, to ensure that they are trained on the products and services that we offer and how to use those, as well as monitoring your accounts to ensure that you're utilizing the best accounts that fit your activity and your needs to ensure that you're receiving the highest rate of interest return. A little bit about FCB Banks. Sure, we have some flyers as to share as well, because we're going to try to cover a lot of information in a short amount of time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So FCB Banks is a privately owned, it's a family-owned bank, a third-generation bank. We started with our first bank in 1901 in New Baden, Illinois. We currently have 17 banks, with 14 in Illinois and 3 in Missouri. We currently hold $2.7 billion in assets. We pride ourselves on being a community bank with the big bank offerings. And then if you'll refer to page 1, again, we're gonna cover a lot of territory to meet that 5-minute time frame.
You've got more than 5 minutes.
Okay, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, no, you don't.
Oh, okay, thank
Sorry.
you.
I'll give it 6.
You have 6.
Okay, thanks. So business, cash management, it's the tools and services that are offered for business customers to operate the business. Services that are available such as direct deposit payroll, positive pay fraud protection. Our bank, we like to refer to FCB as a one-stop shop because we offer all the products that a business needs. Through our online banking, any account signers can have access to that, as well as any non-account signers that authorized personnel would like to provide online banking access to. With that, they can view account balances, activity, complete internal transfers, loan payments, view check images. You can click on deposits, stop payments. Positive pay fraud protection. Now, that's a big topic of discussion. FCB Banks does offer positive pay fraud protection with the payee name match. So what positive pay fraud protection is? It's a fraud protection tool that's available for business customers. As a business customer, banks are very limited on our return time frame to return any checks for fraud. So with positive pay fraud protection, it allows businesses to provide the bank with your check information. So for example, any authorized personnel would utilize online banking to provide FCB or your bank with the check information. So it's the check number, the issue date, the payee name, and the dollar amount. So as checks clear your account daily, the bank runs a program to compare the information that you provided to the bank against how your check is clearing. So for example, if someone changes the payee name, they keep the check number the same, the issue date the same, and the dollar amount the same, but they simply only change the payee. When that check tries to clear your account, it will notify you of, we call it an exception, which is a difference in the information that was provided to the bank. So at that time, you would be notified of check fraud. Because that's a big thing the fraudsters are doing now with positive pay, is they are catching that although a lot of banks and businesses may utilize positive pay, not all banks offer the positive pay name match. So if a business utilizes positive pay, but they don't have the positive payee name match, and that's simply the only thing that changes the payee, then they aren't provided notification if there's check fraud and if a fraudster changes that payee name. Most likely they aren't aware of that until the correct payee notifies them for payment. And then at that time, they may call the bank or look at the actual check and notice the payee name was changed. So that is a huge part of positive pay fraud protection that FCB Banks offers, is the positive pay name match. We do have that. If someone simply changes the payee name, you will be notified. In addition to just the payee name match, what fraudsters are doing is they may create false checks that look exactly like your checks, and they may look exactly like Mayor Wright's signature. But with positive pay, again, if any fraudulent checks are created, it's not going to match the information that's provided to the bank, so you would be notified of fraud. So you would know, if not that day, the next day. Another way our positive pay protects you against fraud is ACH fraud. So what ACH is, it's an electronic debit, and ACH stands for Automated Clearinghouse. So for example, any electronic debits that clear your account, for example, I'm just gonna throw a name out there. Maybe you pay your taxes to the IRS electronically, where they electronically debit your account. Well, once positive pay is in place, the morning after you have an electronic debit post to your account, it will create a notice to notify you that, in that case, the IRS electronically debited your account. At that time, it'll give you the opportunity to review that payment and either mark it paid or returned. The IRS most likely is going to be something that is going to continue to debit your account periodically. What you can do is whitelist that payment. Any electronic payments, you have the ability when you pay them to whitelist them. What that does, it notifies the bank that any electronic debits from that company, that they are whitelisted, so they can pay your account without creating the exception notice. The way the protection is provided, say maybe somebody sees your account number on a payroll check or through mail fraud, they see your checks drawn on the city of Lebanon, they get your routing number, they get your account number. All they need to do to commit ACH fraud is simply pick up the phone or log onto a computer, and they can provide anyone's account number and routing number for them to make a payment. So say somebody does that and they're making their credit card payment, or they're paying, you know, their PayPal or any type of payment, you would be notified, because that will not be a company that you have whitelisted to debit your account. So you are protected with FCB's positive payee name match for all check fraud, for all ACH fraud. Should you have fraud occur on your account after positive pay is in place, there's no need to close the account. You can still maintain your existing accounts. Typically, eventually, the fraudster will cease fraud, because they'll see the checks are getting returned, or the bank that's receiving these fraudulent checks will close the account. But there's no need to close the account. You are protected. You'll see any fraudulent items. You'll be notified within the time frame to return those items. In addition to, we talked about the positive payee name match. We talked about ACH fraud. At FCB, all of our teller systems have an alert set up. So any of our business customers that have positive pay in place, if anyone brings a check into one of our FCB locations to cash, all of our tellers are going to key in all that information on that check. The check number, the issue date, the payee, and the dollar amount. If something doesn't match against the information that the city provided to the bank, then we will not cash that check until we contact an authorized party of the city. So some examples, for one example, on how that's protected some of our business customers with positive pay. We have a business that utilizes positive pay. They're a construction company. We had a non-customer, so someone that didn't bank with FCB, but they brought a payroll check into FCB Trenton location. Again, it was a construction company, so that non-customer came into the lobby with a yellow or orange construction vest on and tried to cash that payroll check. Well, the teller plugged in that check information and it did not match. So they contacted that business and they claimed, no, we don't, that's not one of our employees. We don't know who that is. So we did not cash that check. That particular fraudster, they caught on and I think they said they needed to go out their car. Well, they left, they got away. But the same thing happened at another one of our locations. We asked the gentleman for his driver's license, asked him to have a seat. We called, it didn't match. In the meantime, while he was waiting, the police came. And apparently he was someone that had just gotten off the Metrolink and somebody asked him to cash these checks. And they were fraudulent checks that he was trying to cash, whether or not he understood what he was doing. But someone was paying him to cash these fraudulent checks. But with Positive Pay, they were never cashed. We caught them before they were cashed. So another great tool there. Page 2, just to briefly go over some of the services that we offer at FCB Banks. Wire transfers, the ability to electronically transmit funds from one bank to another. We offer that. We have multi-factor authentication in place for security. So this requires our Business Direct online banking with a security token. Our wire department in Swansea, they do callback procedures. This is another layer of security to verify the wire transfer prior to sending it out. ACH origination, which again, ACH is the automatic clearinghouse of electronic entries. Not sure if you currently offer direct deposit payroll versus paychecks or both, but that's something that we offer and encourage you to utilize. It reduces check expense. It's a benefit to the employees to not have to go to the bank and cash or deposit their checks. It reduces exposure of your account. But we offer that. We also offer other ACH files, such as the ability to collect your utility payments electronically. So I'm not sure if you currently offer that. Okay, we do that as well. We can do them through a Nacha file, through your software or manual. But I know it's always a concern anytime we're learning something new. I can assure you that with FCB, we come on site, we provide the training, and we come as often as needed. We work as a team. Again, I'm the business development, cash management, but there's 2 other ladies that we work together. We work with our customer service cash management department in Swansea. So there's a whole team to help there. Another product that's available is our deposit remote capture. So this provides the ability to make deposits, check deposits, straight from your office without having to drive to the bank and deposit those checks. There's no cost for the scanner. The bank provides the scanners for free and there's no contract. We come on site, we install the deposit, the drivers on the computer, and we offer training on how to use it. All deposits scanned by 5 p.m. on any business day receive same day credit.
Very good.
Bill payments available where you can just similar to how you can use bill payment as a consumer. You can go online, create those companies that you're wanting to pay and send via check draft or electronically. Alerts are available where you can set up alerts through online banking to notify you of low balance alerts. If you want notification when a deposit goes to your account, or there's many alerts that you can customize. Stop payments are available where you can issue stop payments online. There is a $20 fee to submit a stop payment online. Merchant services available. Merchant services is the ability to accept debit cards and credit card payments. We also offer that service. We offer issued debit cards and credit cards with reward options. Over to page 3. Not sure if the city of Lebanon is, the insurance is in a high deductible insurance plan, but we offer free health savings accounts. Of course, we have commercial loan options available. We work with Wintrust Investments for investment opportunities. Fees. So the positive pay fraud protection, it's $40 a month. But one thing to keep in mind is we offer a commercial checking account. With that commercial checking account, it earns what's called earnings credits. Those earnings credits can be used to offset fees. And I'm very confident with you being a municipality and the volume, the monthly fee would be completely offset, meaning you wouldn't see a fee to the account to have that service. Fees to originate ACH files, for example, the payroll file. It's $5 per file, not per employee, but $5 per file. So maybe you pay weekly, it's $5 a week. We can calculate it so that that $5 fee can go through your earnings credit so that you don't see that fee as well. We do not charge fees for unauthorized returns and notification of changes, nor do we charge for return deposited items for any of our customers. That's something we did away with. So you may have fees for, non-sufficient checks that you accept for utility payments. We do not charge the return deposit item fee. Wire transfers. We charge $10 for an outgoing domestic wire transfer. And again, this is through our business online banking for you to do here at the city of Lebanon. $40 for an international wire, and we do not charge any fees for the incoming wire transfers. If somebody sends you a wire, we do not charge. And then just to recap on the remote deposit capture, we have package pricing. So really the more services that you utilize, the more bang for your buck, basically, because we talked about $40 a month for positive pay. It's just an additional $10 a month to have that remote deposit capture. And again, that fee can be offset through your earnings credits. Page 4, it's just a screenshot of what our online banking looks like. And just recap some of the services available. Page 5, we went over that, but just to recap positive pay. As a business banker to all of our customers, it's part of my job to educate the business customers and encourage them the need of positive pay fraud protection. Particularly municipalities, because it's taxpayers' money, it's large balances, high check activity, which makes you at greater risk for fraud. So page 6, just to recap, ACH files, it sounds like you may utilize direct deposit payroll and electronic debit for any customers that want to sign up to just automatically be debited for their utility payment each month. We do have the ability to process those through NACHA files, which NACHA, it's the National Automated Clearinghouse. It's a file that your software can create. So I'm sure the city utilizes some kind of a program or software for all of your utility files, and then probably a program for your payroll to calculate the net withholdings and such. So that is available to process through a NACHA file or manually, either one. But again, we provide the training. We do offer reoccurring files, so you can set up a file. I don't know that it's something that would apply for your employees, but maybe if you have a salary employee that their payroll doesn't change, you have the ability to set up a recurring file to automatically process on its own each time. We also offer same-day ACH files. So you can maybe forget to send payroll. Not that that's probably happens here, but, or if you have a payment that you need to expedite and you want the payment received the same day, if you process by 12 noon on a business day, it's guaranteed to be received that same day. Page 8. So FCB, we currently have 17 locations, 14 in Illinois, 3 in Missouri. Trenton is our closest location to Lebanon. I believe we're about 7 miles out. Page 9 is a list of our ATMs. Page 10 is our business accounts that we offer. And I'd like to briefly speak about our repurchase sweep account. So repurchase sweep account, it's tied to a commercial checking account. The bank reviews your account and we determine based on your check volume and activity on the account a target balance. For example, maybe we determine 50,000 is the dollar amount that needs to be maintained in that account. And anything above that would be moved into a repurchase sweep account. The sweep account is going to accrue interest daily. So you're going to earn interest on your interest. With the term sweep, it's automatically going to move any money out of your sweep account into your commercial checking account to cover any debits. So the beauty of the sweep account is it allows you to maintain a minimal balance in your commercial account. So you can have your excess funds placed in that repurchase sweep account. So it can accrue interest daily. And again, it's not something that you have to monitor because it's going to automatically move the money out of your repurchase sweep account into your commercial checking to cover any debits automatically.
What's the rate?
It varies.
On 250,000, roughly.
I believe it's 2.68. Now, our money market is gonna pay a lot higher, but say with the money market, you're limited to 6 withdrawals per month. And with the money market, you have to manage that in that you have to manually move money out of your money market into your operating account to cover any debits. Although the sweep account pays a lower rate, it allows you to be a lot more aggressive with your balance that you're putting in the interest-bearing account. So it's typically earns you a lot more money in interest because you don't have to be conservative on the balance that you keep in your operating account to cover any debits. So you can keep a very low balance in your non-interest bearing account and keep, the majority of your funds in that repurchase sweep. And then the last page are just some highlights. Just to reiterate again, the FCB Banks offers the positive fraud protection with the payee name match. If fraud occurs on your account, it's protected. And again, your account does not need to be closed if you have fraud, because you are protected with positive pay. Keep that account open. If the fraudster presents fraud again, you will be notified. So you can, view those items, whether it be ACH or checks, and mark them returned. So we like to think of positive pay as kind of like insurance. As homeowners, we have insurance on our home. We would not want to be without insurance on our home. Same with, our cars, our vehicles. We have insurance. So that's kind of what positive pay is for business customers. It's that protection on your assets. It's highly recommended. And it's highly recommended that you utilize the positive payee name match. Because the fraudsters are catching on that banks and business customers are utilizing positive pay, but not all banks offer the payee name match. And so they're catching on that if they simply change that payee name only, then positive pay isn't catching it. It's not providing the business customers the notice of the fraud. And they don't know until maybe weeks later, or until that original vendor or payee reaches out to them looking for their funds. And just to reiterate that our commercial checking account does offer earnings credits. FCB Banks does not charge return deposited item chargeback fees. Our incoming wires are free. And again, just to play that we're a community bank, but we offer those big bank offerings. So we do keep up with the latest technology. We do have those deposit scanners available for same day credit for all deposits scanned by 5 p.m. on a business day. And a dedicated business banker, which myself would be your dedicated business banker. I've been with the bank for almost 20 years and I've worked in our data center with cash management and then this role as well. But this is my area of expertise. I believe in FCB's products. And again, I come on site to provide the training. We build that relationship to work together. What sets FCB apart from our competitors is our customer service and our relationships that we build with our customers. We periodically continue to review your accounts to make sure that you're in the right accounts to earn the highest interest and utilize the service to educate you to utilize those services. We are grateful for the opportunity and we hope to build a relationship with the city. My contact information is listed on the last page as well as my business card is included in the folder. Does anyone have any questions?
You did it excellent, yeah.
Thank you. Did I stay within my 6 minutes? Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. How didn't I?
Hey.
Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
Have a great evening.
It's for the cookie.
You're welcome. Enjoy it. I'm jealous.
Okay, moving on, water and sewer. Excuse me, anything else in finance?
No, that's it.
Water and sewer.
Not that I know of, unless Penny's got something.
Nothing.
Hey, thank you. Personnel, we'll discuss that later probably. Personnel? Not here.
No, Mr. Dennis.
Mr. Minutes?
Yeah.
Nothing, okay, thank you. Health and safety. Washington. Nothing new on that, okay, we really can't discuss much about that without being in executive session.
Excuse me?
The ambulance contract, that's what's under health and safety.
No, I know, but what did you say?
I said, there's not much we can discuss without being in the executive session. There are things we can, but specifics we can't. Okay, any unfinished business?
What?
Any unfinished business?
Oh, wait, there is the guns.
That's new business.
That's your business.
That's you.
Under new business, the item there is to discuss the possibility of an ordinance restricting usage of weapons within city limits. Basically, we have had people we have some concerns about people trying to set up ranges on their property and firing. We have at the current moment, ordinance 24-120 controls only air guns. Cannot discharge an air gun within the city limits. An air gun has about a 300 to 600 foot per second muzzle velocity, but only has an effective range of about 20 feet. However, firearms and bows and arrows have about the same muzzle velocity, but can go a lot further. So it was brought to my attention by staff. And they went out and researched and found a couple of ordinances. I put one on each of your desks. This is basically a modification of the ordinance from Highland. And for the benefit of the audience, it reads, "It is unlawful for any person to discharge or fire any type of gun or weapon within the city limits, regardless of whether the charge be propelled by compressed air, gas, power, spring, or any other means, except upon premises used by a duly licensed gun club, shooting gallery, or rifle club. This section does not apply to the discharge of firearms by police or other city officers in the discharge of their duties, or to persons acting in self-defense in accordance with the law."
So you can't use a BB gun, huh?
Well, that's been on the books for ages.
My goodness sakes.
The problem I have is a regular person out there is not gonna abide by, but anyways, like Mr. Stevenson was just saying, a regular BB gun. Some 14-year-old kid wants to shoot his BB gun in the backyard. I mean, you got your 4 weapon safety rules, treat, never keep, treat a weapon as if it were loaded. You teach them the basics there. For me to tell, like you just said right here, a person should be able to defend themselves and or their property at all costs, whether that means life or death. Am I agreeing that somebody needs to set up a AR range right here on the brick streets? No. But it needs to be worded to where anybody have that right to carry a firearm. Now, do you have to go through all these classes? Of course you do. But at the same time, somebody should be able to defend themselves and or their property at any given point in time, because we all know we got a lot of burglars coming through town, not just here, it's everywhere. A person should have that right to defend themselves and or their property.
Well, it does state that in the ordinance. It says, "or to persons acting in self-defense in accordance with the law." As long as it's in accordance, if that firearm is duly, they've got the appropriate carry permit or FOID, that's within the law. That's all I mean. It is not telling anybody they can't carry a gun.
We don't have enough policemen in places.
But if something happens, this is one more piece to pile on. You get what I'm trying to say, it's one more piece.
Yeah, I get it. It's, this is another step towards big city.
Well, basically, we're on the outskirts of big city, and we're within that realm sometimes.
Yeah.
The chief has shared stories with us, incidents, I won't say stories, incidents with us that,
But if there's so many people in this city that probably has a firearm, okay?
yeah,
And now, basically, if he discharges that in his backyard, why, he can go to jail.
well, it doesn't say that, it just says it's gonna be a charge. We don't have in here cited the ordinance under which it would be basically an ordinance violation. It is not a jailed violation, it's an ordinance violation and not a criminal violation.
I think it needs to be more detailed as in, I mean, I'm a hunter. I have a compound bow, I have a crossbow, I have a big backyard. Do I shoot my compound bow into a shooting block into my backyard? Yes, I do. I go through the proper procedures and safety protocols of making sure I'm not shooting at my neighbor's dog or something like that, but I have stuff in my backyard. I'm not the only one here. I'd be willing to bet, but I think it needs to be more clarification on there, what can and cannot be shot. I understand firearms, I get that. But a compound bow or a crossbow, bow and arrow, so on and so forth.
That's considered a weapon.
There's a reason why we have a Second Amendment, all right?
And we do have the Second Amendment, right?
It
Like,
sounds like
He's saying
trying to
that.
infringe on it. Not the totally nothing, but we do have laws for reasons.
I think we ought to really think about
That's what I'm saying. It's under discussion.
it, you
I
know?
think it needs to be rewritten in more, unfortunately, more detail. It has to be nowadays, unfortunately. You have, everybody here has the Second Amendment right to right to bear arms, whether it be a pistol, rifle, bow and arrow, BB gun. I think it just needs to be written a lot more in detail. Cause you could go to Walmart right now and go buy a BB gun that'll hurt somebody pretty bad.
I know, we can get BP guns and
Right,
pellet guns that have 1,200, 1,300 foot per second muzzle velocities.
100%.
I was an expert witness on firearms when I lived in Arizona.
Arizona, what were you doing there?
I was a high school music teacher and I ran a gun shop.
Let's get back to this here.
Well, let's get back to this.
It's,
But this is the beginning of the discussion. It's gonna take a couple of meetings to get it down. I've got other example ordinances. This is a common ordinance across cities. I've got a number of others. Otherwise, we run the risk of somebody, even inadvertently, discharging a firearm and damaging property or person, and we have nothing to charge with.
well,
We have no recourse.
I kinda agree to that, but it's also, the guy gets in the car, you know, he can have problems too.
Yeah,
So, you know, I think this is awfully limited. Personally,
limiting, I think it's pretty broad.
no, I think it's pretty limited.
What would you add to it?
Well, I would not necessarily add very much. I would be taking a lot away from it.
What would you take away from it?
Huh?
What would you take away from it?
Well, I'd have to study it a lot more, but here it's, you can't do anything unless it's a license, a gun club, shooting gallery, or a rifle club. Doesn't say anything of a shotgun or anything.
It's weapon.
But it just says a weapon or a gun. It doesn't have to, we could make it a thing, you know, several pages long with all the different kinds of firearms, guns, weapons, even knives are not mentioned.
Oh,
In case we have somebody, or hatchet throwing.
oh, there you go.
But
I mean, that's
you have to,
ridiculous.
you have to have it detailed though nowadays. You have to. Cause now you're gonna get, let's just say I'm shooting in my backyard and somebody wants to call a cop saying I'm shooting my compound bow in my backyard in my block, my shooting block, cause I'm getting ready for hunting season, which is still in right now. Who are you to say that I can and cannot shoot my compound bow? Who are we to say that about you? That's why, you know, I think it needs to be brought up and rewritten into more detail by just being a broad spectrum.
Okay, I'm not arguing about that. I'm just gonna point.
I was just going off, Mr. Stevenson.
I'm gonna point out the problem with being detailed. So, and the problem exists is with the drug issues. When drug laws were being written to specific drugs, all a person had to do is do a minor change to a compound, and it's a different drug.
But George, we're not talking about drugs right
But
now.
that's the same thing with firearms.
No.
Yes, it is.
Drugs and firearms are two different things. We're talking about firearms. Let's get back on firearms.
Well, okay, I'll go back to firearms.
Firearms. We're
Okay,
not talking
so-
about drugs.
Somebody comes in here and designs their own firearm that has a different way of propelling an object. And because it isn't by air, gas, powder, spraying, or other means, it's legal.
That would cover your crossbow, the springs or other means.
Yeah, it would, but what if they come up with something completely different?
We could, shoulda, woulda, coulda all day.
Right, that's why, the more detail you get, the more difficult it is to enforce in reality. The more difficult.
At the end of the day, let's be real, it's not gonna get enforced anyways. This is Lebanon.
Where it gets enforced is
I'm
when.
just gonna be real. People can hate the comment or not, it's not gonna get enforced.
John, I agree with you, but the issue is not getting it enforced, is that if something happens, this gives our city and our officers another tool to use for that incident. We know there are tons and tons of laws in this city that are
Too many.
violated every minute.
Too many all the way around.
Right, but if something happens and the violation of that caused injury or damage, then law enforcement, the city, the courts has something they can use to do something with it.
They have insurance.
They have insurance. Otherwise, some insurance companies won't pay out because there's no law.
You'll see 500 people at the limits down here on Highway 4 shooting away.
We have one of those, by the way. There's a law on the books that governs the number of people that can meet with firearms. and the
Well,
number
there
of
you
people
go.
Who can meet without firearms. That is in our ordinances.
I think that's against the Second Amendment or
Yeah.
something like that.
There is.
I don't know, but
It sounds like a lawsuit, actually.
Excuse me, we gotta have permission to speak. But, yeah, I agree. I'm not saying that, I agree. Don't forget, I was a firearm dealer. You know. So, that's a discussion item. This will be out there for discussion. At least in the next committee's meeting. We're not taking an ordinance to the council yet.
Are there any other ordinances that get very specific?
Trenton is a little more specific, but I wouldn't call it more specific because they have more places and they outline the specific places
Yeah.
that you can use the firearms.
So does Highland, they've got their areas that.
Well, Highland has, I took those out,
They got
this
that.
is Highlands.
I
Highlands,
know,
we took out of there
I
because we don't have,
researched it.
because we don't have Silver Lake. That was one of the areas that were in there, the Silver Lake areas, because there are hunting areas in Silver Lake. If the park district and the trust, the Warner Trust would ever say, okay, Lebanon, we want you to annex our property so we can get police protection, for example. Well, they have a shooting range out there. And that would count.
Sunday, yes, George.
well, so when is the next meeting?
The next meeting, our next meeting is the 23rd for the Howard Council. The next committee's meeting isn't until January.
Say that again? When?
The 30th of December is the fifth Monday. There are no meetings on the fifth Monday.
So when are we gonna get together again?
January,
January 3rd?
what?
23rd of December is the next
Next
committee, or
Council
council,
meeting,
The 30th,
and then you go to January.
January.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
because
Why this is so big?
the 30th is the fifth Monday. So the next meeting will be like January the 5th. And that will be a committee meeting. Sixth,
Yeah, my birthday's on the 3rd.
okay, well, the 6th. I don't have a calendar, so you probably. I know it's the 5th or the 6th. Is there any other business? Anybody have anything? Well, then, by virtue of there being no further business, we're adjourned out now. Thank you.
I just guess you can't do it, so you can't.
When it comes to that though, you have to.
No, I mean, I think this covers, it says anybody, anything that can bring